You're a failure. No one really likes you. Why didn't you even try? You knew you'd mess it up. That little voice inside your head, like a scratched record playing your deepest insecurities, sound familiar? It's the infamous inner critic. Often, our worst enemy isn't out there, but right here, living in our minds, whispering or screaming things we wouldn't dare say to our worst enemy. But what if I told you it's possible not only to understand this voice, but also to transform your relationship with it, even turn down the volume of this relentless critic by shifting your mindset? That critical voice wasn't born fully formed, it's mostly a construction. It's like an echo of voices we heard throughout life: overly demanding parents, strict teachers, comparisons to siblings or peers, past experiences of failure or rejection, and even subtle, or not so subtle, societal messages about what's right, beautiful, or successful. And strangely enough, this voice often has a distorted, positive intention. It thinks it's protecting us from future disappointment, pushing us towards perfection, which doesn't exist, or saving us from embarrassment. The problem? Its methods are terrible. Instead of motivating, it paralyzes. Instead of protecting, it wounds and crushes our self-esteem. It runs on fear and shame. Living under constant fire from the inner critic comes at a steep price: crushed self-esteem. If you constantly say awful things to yourself, how can you feel good about who you are? Fear of taking risks. Why try if I already know I'll fail or I'm not good enough? The critic loves the comfort zone, his, not yours. Chronic procrastination. The perfectionism it demands, do it perfectly or not at all, often leads to putting things off indefinitely. High anxiety and stress. Feeling inadequate or constantly under threat is a recipe for anxiety. Relationship struggles. Either you project your inner criticism onto others, or you fear judgment so much that you isolate yourself. At work, this might mean not asking for a raise or sharing your brilliant ideas. In your personal life, it might mean avoiding friendships or relationships for fear of rejection. See how this voice, supposedly trying to help, ends up being your biggest saboteur? The good news is, you're not doomed to live at the mercy of this voice. Psychology offers several tools to help you build a new mindset, a new way of relating to your inner critic. It's not about eliminating it, it's part of you, annoying as it is, but about taking its power away. Let's explore some strategies. 1. The power of awareness, like turning on the criticism detector. The first step is crucial: noticing when the critic is in charge. We often believe this voice so deeply that we forget it's just a thought pattern, not the ultimate truth. Exercise. Start observing your thoughts. When self-criticism appears, pause and say, "Aha, that's my inner critic talking." Give it a funny name if you want, like "Here comes Grumpy Gus," or "Miss Perfection has arrived." This creates some distance, helping you disidentify from the thought. 2. Question the critic. Be your own defense attorney. Once you've spotted the critic, don't just accept what it says, challenge its validity. Exercise. Ask yourself, is this criticism 100% true all the time? Do I have solid evidence to support it? What evidence disproves it? What would I say to a close friend who is thinking this about themselves? Is there a more balanced, fair way to see the situation? Chances are the critic is being dramatic and one-sided. 3. Practice self-compassion, the most powerful antidote. This might be the most transformative tool. Instead of siding with the critic and beating yourself up, offer yourself compassion. Exercise. When you mess up or feel inadequate, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a dear friend going through the same thing. Recognize that to err is human, that suffering is part of life. Offer yourself comfort and encouragement. Embrace your humanity. 4. Shift focus to action, even if the critic is rambling. The critic loves to paralyze you with fear and doubt. One way to reduce its power? Act anyway. Exercise. Even if the voice is saying, "You can't do this, it's going to be a disaster," choose to take a small step towards your values or goals. Want to write a book? Write one paragraph. Want to learn something new? Watch the first lesson. Action, even imperfect action, creates momentum and shows your critic and yourself that it's not fully in control. 5. Collect positive evidence. Build a case in your favor. Your inner critic is great at collecting evidence of your flaws and failures, right? It's time to flip the script. Exercise. Deliberately notice, document, and celebrate your strengths, efforts, and both small and big victories. It could be a gratitude journal, or a success jar, or simply a list on your phone. Next time the critic says, "You never do anything right," you'll have real proof to counter it and build a more realistic, empowered self-image. The goal with these practices isn't to eliminate the inner critic forever. It's an old part of our psyche that, at its core, may just be scared we'll get hurt. The idea is to drastically lower the volume, authority, and credibility of this voice. It's about learning to not believe everything it says. It's about building a stronger, wiser, more compassionate internal voice, your authentic self, your healthy adult who steps up and takes the lead. The enemy might still mumble in the corner, but they no longer call the shots. This critical voice is a universal challenge, but the beauty is this: your mindset isn't fixed. It can be trained and reshaped. Choosing a mindset of awareness, gentle questioning, and, most importantly, self-compassion is a powerful path to transform your harshest inner enemy into, at most, a grumpy neighbor you've learned not to take seriously, making room for the voice of your true strength and kindness to rise. And you? What's the biggest lie your inner critic loves to tell you? Which of these mindset strategies feels most doable to start practicing today to build a healthier relationship with that inner voice? Share your experience or ideas with us in the comments. Let's walk this path of self-discovery and growth together. If this conversation gave you a new insight or helpful tool, leave a like, share with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel. Big hug, and see you next time.